Jason Rzucidlo reporting outside the Townsend Hotel in Birmingham for a meeting of the Detroit Economic Club. And stay tuned for remarks from Delphi President and CEO Rodney O'Neill.
So, on to the business of today. It's my pleasure to introduce you to your presiding officer today, our presiding officer today for this meeting. Please join me in welcoming Stephanie Bergeron, who is the president of Walsh College.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, thank you. Every once in a while I get asked about the Walsh College football team. I want you to know that we are undefeated. Of course, we don't have a team, but we have kind of an aspiration. No, not really, no. Let me focus on right now. I'd like to say good afternoon and welcome you to today's presentation. I'm honored and pleased to introduce Rodney O'Neill, who was promoted to the Chief Executive Officer and President of Delphi in 2007. And talk about timing, it was just after the company voluntarily declared bankruptcy. It was as the global automotive industry started to implode and that financial markets were starting to melt down. So he took on the role to be the Chief Turnaround Architect. Now I know, and you'll know soon, it's fortunate that Rodney is a multitasker. He has not one, not two, not three, not five, but 8 cell phones and PDAs. And 2 screens hooked up to his PC, so when Beth Chappell asked you to silence your cell phones, he's been doing it for about 5 minutes now. And you know, he serves on the board of directors for Sprint, so I think that the technology people just call him every few weeks and ask him to check out what they're going to bring out next. It's also fortunate that he has a sense of humor, a pretty amazing sense of humor, and I think you know that in difficult times it's sometimes better to have a sense of humor, but never to depart from the issues at hand, and he does that very well. He started at General Motors in 1971 as a student. He attended General Motors Institute, and all of you know that that's now Kettering University. He earned his bachelor's degree from Kettering and his master's degree from Stanford University. He held a number of engineering and manufacturing positions while at the Inland Division, at the former CPC car group at General Motors, before he became the director of manufacturing for Delphi. He was named president of a number of different sectors of Delphi during his career. He was named president and chief operating officer of the company in 2005. He serves on the board of directors for the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, and he's a member of the Executive Leadership Council. I think what's really important to him is sharing his life and his experience with young people. He spent some time this year with the Society of Automotive Engineers, their Jet Toy Olympics competition. And when he came back, he talked about the fun of watching kids learn physics, energy, math, and science. Post Chapter 11, he's been honored many times with awards and recognition, including awards from the Automotive Hall of Fame, the SAE Foundation, Real Life 101, and the Automotive News. He will be among the honorees for the 2011 Urban Wheels Awards. So please join me in welcoming Rodney O'Neill.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate the kind words, and it is great to be here. Before I start, much of what I'm about to say is the result of a tremendous amount of hard work and dedication by a talented team that I am honored to be part of. Many of them are here today, and I'm looking at some very familiar faces. A lot of talent, I want to say that. I do, though, want to take a moment of our precious time, though, and speak personally about one specific individual, and that is my personal admin, Kathy Fisher. And Kathy, could you just stand up? I know you hate this. This is one role in running a company that goes underappreciated. And I just want to let you know that we are where we are because of the thousands of people that gathered around where we wanted to go and got it done. This woman helped me get that, play my role. And through the darkest hours, she never left my side, even though she may have wanted to run every now and then. You know, she stayed there, she helped me through it, and I just want to let you know, in this arena, because it's very appropriate here to say thank you so much, okay? And thanks for all the time. Now we'll get on with the subject. When I was a kid growing up in Dayton, Ohio, the education system was primarily built around the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. And personally, I think the 4th R was a lot more fun, and that was recess, all right? But for a good deal of my career, business strategy seems to have been built around the 3 R's of survival. And that's restructuring, right-sizing, and recessions. I don't think much about these in terms of fun. They really aren't. And they certainly are not a recipe for long-term success. Now, I'm a relatively simple guy. I don't like lists of strategies or business plans that look great on PowerPoint presentations, but they can't be executed. So I only have 1 R to talk about today, and that is the one around which we built our company: relevancy. In February 2005, I had a discussion with the board of directors of Delphi regarding the future of our company. You probably know the Delphi story. It's pretty well known. We were heavily reliant on one customer, and that's General Motors. And we were equally reliant on one market, and that's North America. Our costs were too high in a number of areas, particularly manufacturing labor. And our product portfolio was unfocused. Many of our products were not relevant to the market. And the portfolio was much too large for the amount of money needed to fund so many product lines, many of which were just basic commodities. So in the simplest and the harshest of terms, we were headed in a direction that would have made us irrelevant as a company in short order. And in business, as you know, if you become irrelevant, you will not be in business much longer. The outcome of the discussions with my board that February was approval of a plan that we called our North Star. A fundamental rotation of our plants, of our products, of our processes to make Delphi a relevant company. As part of the North Star plan, we made clear to specific stakeholders the direction required to make the company relevant. We also made clear the undesired direction that we were prepared to go into if we were forced, if the North Star plan was not agreed to consensually. Now, some listened, some didn't. We spent the better part of 2005 executing some elements to make the North Star plan viable. Unfortunately, we could not get stakeholder agreements to implement all aspects of the plan, and we were very concerned about the tremendous cash burn in our basic operations because of our enormous legacy costs. The rest of the story is well documented. We filed for Chapter 11 in October of that year. The reorganization, the restructuring processes under chapter became a necessary step of viability, but our direction, which was our North Star, it never wavered and it never changed. And despite the perfect storm of economic collapse that caused a near meltdown in our industry, the North Star plan remained our direction in which we were headed and the outcome on which we planned. The process, obviously, was not without significant dislocation. And admittedly, the economic environment brought us close to the brink. The sacrifices by all of our stakeholders were significant. The toll was extraordinary, and the decisions required to keep us on track to survive were among the most difficult my team and I were ever made.